All right, this is an emergency. An emergency. I don't have the emergency cue. Do I have some emergency sound? No, I guess I don't. This is an emergency episode. As you can see, looks like the Mariners are firing Scott Servais and moving on. At the time of us recording right here, Kopi, we have enough sources to say that this is happening, right? I think
there's enough smoke.
Yes, I don't. Ken Rosenthal, first of all, started it 41 minutes ago. We're recording here. Adam Jude says sources confirm Servais is out. Mariners will host a Zoom conference call this afternoon, and changes are to be expected. We'll talk about what happens at that press conference later tonight at 8 o'clock on our regularly scheduled show. There it is. Triton's down. All right. The Tritons are down, or Forks are down. Tritons are definitely not up right now, but this episode, Kobe, let's just focus on what's going on. What are your feelings? Just lay it on me.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a feeling of like a little bit surprised that they did this, but I also totally get it when there has to be some sort of scapegoat. There has to be some sort of sacrificial lamb for the performance of this team. Myron, we were talking earlier off air, and you were saying that, they were palpably flat last night in LA. You were there. We felt that for the last several weeks. And I think at the end of the day, when you have, 11 of your 12, let's say, regulars underperforming by so much, Cal Raleigh notwithstanding, that you have to look at the field general at that point, and the vibe and the messaging and the things that are happening. And that comes to Scott. Good, rightful or not, that's just accountability as the helm of the on-field product. And so I think it had to happen. And obviously we don't know any other conversations behind closed doors within that organization, asks of Scott that he has maybe said no to. All of that's conjecture. But, I think this is the last ditch effort to try to salvage this season, to try to create some sort of spark, some sort of juice in the last, waning games to try to get back in this thing. But it kind of does feel like the final nail in the coffin of a pretty ultimately abysmal, shitty season.
Yeah. I agree with you. I was in the house last night and the night before. By the way, this is how bad things have been going right now, of where you have to make some sort of change. You got Jesse Winker this week having 2 walk-offs. You just got beat down by Pittsburgh that were begging you to put the last nails in their coffin. Then Jason Hayward hits a 2-run home, puts the game away there on Tuesday night. He gets DFA'd today from the Dodgers. So, it's just an interesting week. But listen, I've seen this team many a times. This team, this group of players, I've saw them last year in Anaheim, and this year in Anaheim, and this year in LA. Look the flattest I've ever seen. And I think this Dodgers series, you definitely could tell, is right there. I was close to the players. It seemed quiet. Obviously, Scott can't go up there and hit for him, can't be out in the field for him, but you're right. Somebody's got to go. And this is a move. This is a move saying we're not done here in 2024. If I think Scott Servais was part ways with the team, or they part ways with him and Jerry, and do it clean in the offseason, I think that would be a sign of there isn't a chance. Like right now, the Mariners, it seems like the organization that they're going to do what they know. The only thing they can think they can do right now, they can't go out and get somebody else in there. They had to get somebody that's been working with the organizations. Dan Wilson, if you don't know this, I know most Mariners fans do know this, but he's not just a guy that comes in and fills in the booth every once in a while when Mike Flowers needs a day off. He's down there working in the instructional camps. He's down there during preseason. He knows the ins and outs of what's going on with this team. And on short notice, it's kind of like just going and getting a babysitter, right? Like, hey, we need somebody to do this. Dan Wilson, very shocking to me that was the guy they're going to get, but also when you think about it, you go, it makes sense, right? I don't think this is a permanent thing. Maybe it does turn into a permanent thing. Now we're reading that Edgar Martinez is supposed to come along. We've seen him do this before. I think he did this before Scott Servais was there. The Mariners brought him in a couple of years ago to get things right. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know yet. I have a couple thoughts. I think number one, it does feel like a last ditch salvage to me. However, I just saw a thing from Divish that said there's suspected more changes to come to the staff. You did talk about Edgar, but they have a third base coach, Manny Acta, with managing experience, and so why wouldn't they go to him or Chris Negron? So there might be some
big changes, right? I mean, because that's what I guess if you just did that, maybe it's a lateral move. Maybe it's just this, the same old thing. I guess that's what it is. Let's see what some people think here. Opie, we're getting some messages. Let me pull these up. They're coming in. Look at the switch. The Trident has been going down. The Trident has been going down on 2 months. I don't know. They played good baseball here in this last homestand here. I mean, from that Sunday night baseball to this, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because we are Seattle fans. Like the ups and the downs and the peaks and the valleys are always extreme for us, whether it's any of our teams. It's just something that I guess we're born into. There's as Seattle sports fans, but there has been pockets of where they're playing good baseball. Even right now, with them being a 500 team, it shows you that you've played some good baseball. Have we seen any sort of run? Not yet. And I guess that's what they're looking for. I mean, that's the only thing you can do to get yourself into the postseason, to save this season, is you have to get on a hot run, and this is what they've come up with.
Yeah. Maybe it's a Hail Mary for the last ditch effort to get some juice, or it is a white flag and carrying out, playing out the string. Don't know. I reflect upon, how good we were feeling vibe-wise, 10, 11 days ago when they swept the Mets, and they were on Sunday Night Baseball and the whole thing, and boy, have things changed. But
yeah, let me show you how fast they've changed, Kopi. These are the thumbnails from the last few episodes. So we're right now, tonight we'll be at Triton's Down. The one we're doing right now is This Is Fire. Let's go backwards. Triton's Down and Forks Up. Play it, Spotlight Ready. And then the one before that is the Soto Mojo Back. So that's been the transition. And if you want to go forward with that linearly, here we go. If we went from Soto Mojo to we're Spotlight Ready. This was Sunday Night Baseball. This was like, what the hell is going on there in Pittsburgh? And now we're here. That's the timeline of this podcast, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. We got a lot of comments here, Kopi. Somebody asked, why the fuck did he get fired? Well, I think I think that's pretty self-explanatory. They just they had to make some sort of sparking change. And he says, let's see, but only 5 games out with a month and a half to go. Well, I think that's why, right?
Yeah. Listen, this team, like, I want to take that on for a second. It's not like this team has been gangbusters for the last 2.5 months. I mean, on what is it, June 10th? Was that the high water mark of 10 games up and 13
Yeah,
games
16th
over 500?
mid-June.
Yep. And so this team has been struggling for a long time. And I'm just looking at some of these things coming in. It's funny, but I'll tell you this right now. I think the challenges with the offense, like a metastasizing cancer, has spread across the entire team. You see pitchers now who, like Logan, you can't tell me Logan Gilbert last night doesn't think he has to be absolutely perfect every time out for a chance to win. I have to give up 0 or 1 run, and then you get tight, and then you leave balls in the middle of the plate. You can't tell me that injury aside, and which has been real for the bullpen this year, same kind of thing. How many high leverage, if you pull a starter in the 6th inning and you're up 1-0, then by definition, the rest of those at bats every game are high leverage. What does that do to a bullpen? It just fries a bullpen. So I do think that
you have to bring in your closer in the 7th inning with 1 out against the Dodgers and go, do you not? That's like taking off on an airplane with a little bit of some gas and going, you know what? We're still going to get across country with this gas. Dr. JFK Jr., Amelia Earhart, don't work.
Every pitch that the bullpen throws is high leverage, and you can't do that. And so there's just this frying of the team. I think they are on E, to use your gas metaphor, because they don't have anything left in the tank, because they have not had enough of those easy wins, those 6-1, 6-2s, 8-4s, 9-3s, where you can just kind of, reset a little bit. Every game is a grind. And, if the other team scores 1 or 2 runs, it feels like it's 15. And that's what a bad offense does to a team. That's how a bad offense craters a season. And we've seen it. And it's been almost historically bad offense. I mean, probably when you look at K rates and get someone to really, really bad. So, who wears that? Well, maybe it's messaging. I mean, they already blew out Brant Brown early in the season. Maybe it's messaging. Maybe it's a collective underperformance. Maybe it's the whole pressing thing that we've talked about a lot. But at the end of the day, it hasn't been good enough. And the on-field general has to take the fall for that.
Yeah, we got some Instagram comments here. We're getting. I'll smash these all into one. So basically, let's give the credit. Perla was the first one who asked this. How can you fire Scott and not Jerry? Again, I think it's the field general has got to go. Also, hey, that's your job to fire somebody. That doesn't mean Jerry's safe right now, but hey, you're going to go and fire your guy. That's how it works.
Yep.
That's what the general manager does. That's what the president of operations does.
I would totally say to that too, that if this farm system was in the middle of the pack somewhere, Jerry might be on his way out too. But here's the deal. The farm system, by all accounts, and people who've studied it a lot closer than you and me or anyone else listening right now, has them in the top 5 of farm system. So that's part of baseball operations. That's part of what Jerry does. If an organization, it's in an okay place. The major league product, the one that matters, is a fucking dumpster fire right now. But the fact that they have some of these top 100 prospects on a fast track to the major leagues, that's what Jerry does. But let me take a minute here just to do a little bit of a sidestep and go, I am an unabashed Mariners fan and a team fan, but I think if you want anywhere to really direct your frustration, this is an organizational frustration thing, because this organization has been one of the most impotent, feckless, ballless organizations that you can see. There's no go for it. There's no wanting to. There's no risk. There's no putting it out there. There's no go for it and fucking win it at all costs, like really good organizations do. Everything is done on the cheap. Everything's done on the slide. Everything is done in the margins. Hey, if this guy can recreate his season from 2 years ago, oh, if this guy who has a flash in the pan last year can replicate that, that's fucking bullshit, man. And it's been proved over and over again. And I will tell you, and I will shoot it from the mountaintops. This city, these fans deserve more from this organization. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Chris Larson. Yes, I'm talking to you, John Stanton. They deserve more. If you want to win, you win. You make it. It's all in service of winning. No bullshit. No, let's just see what the turnstiles. Let's not see what the walk up is and how many you're packing in there and ripping off dollar bills and profit margin being one of the highest in baseball. No one gives a fucking shit about that. Go and win. Commit to winning, because we've all been part of this for a long time.
With that being said, we're going to go to a quick little break while I cool off from what Kopi just said right there, because I'm all hot and bothered in the right and the wrong ways. So they're in the midst of this losing streak, and the Mariners go, our 2025 spring training schedule has arrived. Check out the full slate of games in Arizona. This was their fucking post. They were showing the Cactus League schedule. This was their post. There was nobody in there just to go, I don't know, let's hold off on that one. We didn't even get into these comments. Great series, guys. I genuinely can't take it anymore. Looking forward to it since we won't be making the playoffs. Fire Servais, fire Dipoto. Who the hell cares? Fire Servais already. There needs to be a serious discussion about Scott Servais right now. Lawrence Stewart says, Seattle Mariners, you got to love these guys, ... in Peoria.
How about that?
Yeah. So I think that was a perfect roll-in for what you just had to say right there. Like last week, we're in that losing streak, and they're like, hey, forget all that. Save your money for next year. And that was the message. So like, yes, you're right. They're brainless, they're ballless. We got some more comments right here. Let's see. And then we'll check out some Twitter stuff. It's not really Jerry or Scott's fault. The Mariners literally make money, and they have the worst ownership in all of baseball. They have a window, and they have a bar, and they bargain shop. And that's from what's this? Gossermere 11. Thanks for that comment. Let's see. Flip of the Switch has some more. Nothing changes until ownership changes. Let's see. We got Perla here. I'm so glad I didn't spend my deposit on the playoffs. Yeah. Let's see. Stanton keeps raising. Stanton is so cheap, it keeps raising prices on the fans. Sorry if we don't get to all of these. We got a lot of them here today. Yes. All BS from Flick of the Switch, who likes to hop on here. So let's again. I think everybody that's jumping in here, some people are jumping in here late. This is our live YouTube just reaction show. Again, tonight we'll be back at 8:00 with the Tridents Down episode. Hannah will be here. He's sharpening his eating utensils because he's about to devour me on that episode. But as far as the way things went down today, the timeline so far, we had Ken Rosenthal who kicked it all off. But now we need to start looking at our Seattle sources. Just again, when we came on here, a source from Divis, a source confirmed the firing. It's likely there could be more changes to the coaching staff for the final month. Hey, as long as Pete Woodworth is still the pitching coach, I can live with all this. Let's see what Larry Stone says. I don't feel any joy about this. Scott Servais is a good man and a good manager. On the blame scale for the Mariners season, I put him well down the list, but the manager always takes the fall. I agree. We've pretty much said that and echoed that. I wonder what who do you like to look? Who should I see who said anything? Kobe,
Say that again.
is there anybody you like to follow? See what they're saying. Adam Jude.
I mean, yeah, Adam Jude's pretty good. I think, listen, Larry Stone has seen a lot of these in his career, and I think that
Yeah.
sentiment is exactly right. Like this is maybe not Scott's fault, but it's going to be his dagger to take. And we can talk about all the reasons, but it's been an absolute failure. And I'll say one last thing. I don't want to diatribe here, but the ownership of this organization needs to step forward. I'm not asking for a Jerry Jones type of sideshow, but what's the last time that John Stanton answered a tough question? What's the last time that Chris Larson
He hasn't
answered a tough question? And so I think it's time that you stop marching out like we can go way back to the winter meetings where 2 weeks before the rug got pulled on Jerry and Scott about what their budget was going to be with all the regional sports network stuff. And those guys had 1,000-mile stares in that press conference. And what an opportunity for leadership of organizations to step forward and go, here's the situation. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be accountable. Here's what it is. And they haven't done it. And they haven't done it all year. And this, when I say feckless, when I say ineffective, when I say in it for all the wrong reasons, this is what I'm talking about. Because where is ownership in this thing? Where is the leadership of this organization? We are the rudderless mariners. This is like, where are we going? Where is the assurance to fans that we are in this to win it and everything is all cost to win it? And there's nothing like that. It's all lip service. And then you march out Jerry, who I mean, there's a reason that 710 didn't have the Jerry DePoto show this year. Last year, if you remember, every Thursday he was on.
Yep.
And after the 54% comment, the Mariners were like, nope.
Yeah.
And
you know what sucked about that? I lost a segment that I did every week called the what was it? The deconstruction of the Jerry DePoto show. I lost that because of that. Yeah. Keep going. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, he hasn't been on there. He had to go on there during the All-Star break or around then or the trade deadline because that is just a normal obligation. You got to go and face the media. But you're right.
Yeah.
You didn't get him every Thursday because these, the questions and the concerns had not changed. They had not changed since the end of 2022 season. And that was we're supposed to get better, right? We're supposed to make these moves to get better. And that's the thing about Scott Servais. We do have to, I really want to acknowledge, look, he wasn't given enough. I mean, he was given a great just pitching, right? But you really haven't had these guys, anybody in here. I mean, and let's look at this. Let's be fair too. Julio has not become the star that we thought he was going to become yet at all. Even last year, not a bad season, but not the superstar season. And this year, yeah, he's been injured. He was injured for out for 3 weeks or so, but like, he's not had a good year. And if he has a good year or he changes and snaps out of it here right now, because this is the first time he's going to be in this situation with somebody like Scott Servais, who is his manager, probably a mentor, probably definitely a father figure that he's had, since he's been here in the organization. He's the guy that brought him up. He's the guy who's told Julio, you be Julio. How's he going to handle this? I know that the players definitely have to be feeling this blame. I was listening to Dave Wyman on 710 before we got in here, and he was talking about, I never, ever felt like ever as a player, like it was the coach's fault I was sucking or we were losing. I feel like the players are definitely put on themselves, but you can't replace any players. We're past the trade deadline. I know the rules on, I think if you pick somebody up by September 1st, I think they could be on your playoff roster. I think the
playoffs.
Yeah,
playoffs. Well, I'm gonna Jim Morgan real quick. What the fuck? What are we doing?
Look,
stop it.
They made this. Look, let's be fair. They made this move because
it's over, man. It's done. We're done. We are. We're done.
Yeah. I know you got to hop off here. for the people. We actually got a lot of people on here watching right now, just starting to join in. I'll probably stick on. Let's see, I'll probably just stick on here. We'll go through some more shit online, and if one of the I could see when they're going to do this press conference. If somebody says, "Hey, the press conference is starting now," in the comments to me, we'll cut it down. But again, we'll be back at 8:00. Again with the Tridents Down episode. I'm going to go on a quick break. Kopi, you got to hit a meeting. I'll probably stick on here for another like 15 or 20 minutes, just going through some of the questions and the comments and it's going to be a fun night on Mariners Twitter. I haven't even looked over at the Facebook fan groups because that's the craziest place. If you've not been over to real Seattle Mariner fans, but all right, Kobe, we'll see you later. We'll definitely be talking soon, and definitely, in fact, as you go, I'm going to roll you out with a quick little clip from when your dad. One of my favorite interviews when your dad was on here.
Mariners approved the script. We go down to Arizona, and we present the commercials to all the guys, and they all liked it. Buhner came in. He said, "Yeah, that's fun. I'll do that." Lou said, "Yeah, I'll do it but I don't want to take all damn day." So he said, "Okay, Lou, we'll get you in and out in an hour, I promise." And then Bosio and Randy came in together. So we showed Randy his commercial. We had little storyboards. There's Randy dressed as a carnival knife thrower, and he said, "Yeah, that's cool. I can do that." Bosio liked it, and he said, "Yeah, that's really neat. What do you got for me?" And he said, "Chris, you're going to love this. You're a gruff, tough, right-handed pitcher who doesn't back down to hitters. What's the occupation you're least suited for?" And I show him the picture, a ballerina in a tutu dancing to Swan Lake. And his smile turned to a frown. He goes, "Are you effing kidding me?" Meanwhile, Randy's laughing his ass off. He goes, "Give me that thing. I'm going to hang it up in the clubhouse." And Bosio says, "The hell you are." And he takes it and he rips it in half. And he rips it in half again. And it's like, he says, "I'll do a commercial for you guys. I'm not going to do that goddamn commercial." "Yes, sir. We got it." So we go back to the hotel. We have a few drinks. We try to come, because we're shooting in 2 days. Come up with some ideas. So we finally come up with an idea that, again, the toughness of Bosio, but instead of a ballerina, he is a dentist who doesn't believe in Novocaine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's pulling teeth from this poor guy. But there was, and they were pretty well received, the commercials. But there was a lesson there, which is it's okay to have fun with the players, but don't make fun of them.
Right.
And
right.
that's that line in comedy. A cheap laugh isn't always a good laugh.
God damn, we still got to cut that Odyssey thing out of there. Well, that had me thinking here when I was listening to that clip. Here's something fun, and I know nobody wants to hear about this, but maybe they can make some fun commercials now that they got some of the characters that the Mariners know. Also, I was just thinking about this too. If Dan Wilson is in fact the manager, as reported, Dan Wilson, if you guys remember, and if you don't, number 9, I believe, or was he 6? Was he 6? Okay, sorry, never mind. I was just thinking he was going to slip into the 9. It's actually 6. I'm gotta remember that. As far as this move again, I definitely felt like something was up yesterday. Definitely being in the Dodger Stadium. Just the flatness of the team was at an all-time low, I felt like. And Scott not having that typical press conference after the game, I guess it didn't air en route, makes me kind of speculate that maybe this was something that they already knew. Maybe he already knew this during the game, or definitely right afterwards. Like, I don't know if it's this thing where he had to look up and they either give him the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And then maybe he had this team meeting was a goodbye, so to speak. I would think after being around a lot of these guys, I mean, their entire careers, and somebody like whoever, like the Dylan Moores, the Hanigers, he's been around, he's known these guys forever. I would assume you'd get a proper let's talk. Maybe it was that. Maybe, I mean, I'm just speculating. I guess we'll find out that after more of the stories come out. Let's check out some more comments here. Think about it seriously. The last time the M's were close to being relevant was when Lou Piniella was here 23 fucking years ago. Well, I think we were relevant 2 years ago. I think we were relevant last year. They just came up short. And I think even if the Mariners did go on a run right now, and you'd think they have some sort of run, we've been waiting for this run. But again, you've gone so many games into the season that you haven't seen it yet, where you're like, man, maybe this just isn't going to happen. We see that with players. I can think whatever guys that we brought in here, whether it was Winker, whether it was Wong, Garver, where you're like, well, when are they going to snap out of it and just go through a hot streak? And it just never really happens. Maybe that's just never really going to happen for this team. We've seen this happen for 21, 22, 23. We just have not seen that here. Like, we're just almost kind of like expecting that, whether it's the 14 game winning streak or the streak they went on last year, before they got on the airplane in their track suits and then just, collapsed. And as far as Scott, yes, he's had 2 seasons here where the Mariners could not hold on to a lead. If you remember last year, the Mariners did actually hop into first place for a little bit. It was not very long-lived there, but again, you fell flat last year like this. You've already fell flat like this. So I think if you're any other organization, that you do have a manager or general manager for that matter, that you've been around just about a decade and you only have one playoff, punch on your punch card, outside looking in, I think anybody would say, yeah. Knowing what we know with, what team Scott inherited, and Jerry's and his decision to revamp everything, repunch everything, around 19. Then you had COVID. You kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. I figured if you didn't make the playoffs or didn't go deep into the playoffs, like if you were just 2 games and out in the first round, I definitely thought you'd be gone. I know on here we got people, let's see, asking again about what about Jerry. I think Copacino, Chris, who was just on here, laid that out that, like, look, he's the president of baseball operations. So it's what's happening here on the field right now, it is also what you're doing, what you're curating for the organization. So I don't know. We weren't there in those conversations. I'm sure we're going to find out. Let's see. We got 2022. We made it to the playoffs with an expanded spot. Otherwise, it's the same old. Yes, sure. But that's the game we're playing right now. So, and also we have here, you cannot expect a winning atmosphere if you only have 54 an expectation of 54. Well, look, the Mariners aren't even playing 54% right now. So I think the argument right there kind of goes towards Jerry. Hey, if the Mariners, let's just pull this up right now. If the Mariners were playing 54%, where would that put them? Because right now the Mariners are playing, and let me see if this is up there on the screen for you guys. Sorry about that. My co-host is not here to help me with this. But you look at the standings. If you are 54%, you are in between what the Red Sox and the Orioles are doing. You would not be catching the Royals, but look, the Astros are doing 54%. So, I mean, there is something to it. It just sounds gross. I'm not here to advocate for it, but right now I would be happy with 54%. The Mariners are at 50%. I know last year we were like after 100 games in 2023, what were they, 50 and 50? And we were just like, this has got to end. I mean, we're 64 and 64, 2 in our last 8. And if you look at this playing on the road, 11 games under 500. This is typically in the Scott Servais era. They've been a good road team. It's been the home stuff. Look, Mariners are 11 over at home, 11 under on the road. That's just, those are the facts there. But yeah, 54% would be good. Let's see. We got another one. It's not winning. It's not a championship winning mentality. Sure. I think saying that, and the way that the Mariners fan base has taken that and held it over his head, I could see possibly a change here in the postseason, or in the postseason. I mean, after the season, post 2024 regular season. But I mean, right now, look, we're just waiting for this press conference. So we're about to wrap this one up. But remember, tonight, 8:00, our regularly scheduled episode. It's our Tritons Down episode. Let me put that up on the screen. We'll be back at 8. If you're tuning into this right now, this is the Fired. And again, there hasn't been a press conference, but we've heard enough. We've heard enough from Ken Rosenthal, from Adam Jude. Yahoo Sports has got it. All right. It's already on Yahoo. That means it's everybody else has got it at this point. Let's see. Another one here. This team has been struggling since the All-Star break. That is true. And I hate to be so negative, but come on, in 47 years, we've been to the playoffs 5 times, and the only 17 season with the record above 500. It gets so old hearing the same thing. It does. But I feel like, something had to change. If you were just giving up on this season, I don't think you do anything. Again, for somebody that's been around the Mariners and been so positive and good with the media and good with the fans. Listen, like Larry Stone was saying, Scott's a good man, and it sucks that this is happening to him, but it's definitely earned. And what's coming right now kind of feels like it definitely feels like just a vibe change, a desperation move, as you will. You're kind of using one of your legends to come in and kind of just spearhead this thing. Depending on what happens here, it'd be interesting to see what this means for Dan Wilson and the Mariners. Edgar Martinez back. I'm sure that's another like temporary thing right now. I think because if he wanted to be this hitting coach years ago, I'm sure he would be the hitting coach. But hey, if you're you have some old memorabilia that you need to get signed by Edgar and Dan Wilson, this is a great time. Maybe some of the other Mariners will be around a little bit more. I don't know. And I know people get sick and tired of I'm tired of it's 47 years, this many playoffs. I know there's a statistic that they had just as many ruptured testicles as playoff appearances, which is just, I don't even know what to say to that. But, until there is another team that makes it to the ALCS and can win some games in the ALCS, you're going to keep mentioning these other teams. And yes, it is sad that the Mariners have not surpassed that or reached that. Yeah, we made the playoffs, after a 21-year drought? Well, they haven't been back to the ALCS since 2001. So they really haven't been knocking on the door of a World Series, since pretty much 9/11. All right. So that's got to change. They definitely need to spend more money. I don't think any manager that's a serious manager that you're going to get to come in, whether it's after Dan Wilson or whenever, is going to really take this organization serious about winning a World Series unless you do put these players out there. You do spend the money. And I know that's not an immediate fix right now. You can't do that, but I'm just looking forward. Anyways, thanks for checking in. Again, liking and subscribing helps out the Rye Bread Mustard and Mariners 5-star Dive Bar podcast. Also, if you are, looking to get that street cred for rocking the rye bread, hit up at simply.cora on Instagram or Etsy, or check out In the Clutch. Use code Nasty Boys to save yourself some money. And look, if you are going down to the ballpark this weekend because you already bought tickets and nobody wants to buy them off of you, whether the roof is open or closed, the bar and the kitchen are always open at Tacos and Tequila. Head on over to Tacos and Tequila right across from T-Mobile Park, right there on Occidental. A great place. Love Alex and Joe, real generous to us. Anyways, with that being said, we will see you at 8:00 tonight for our Tridents Down episode, focusing on probably more of this. I'm sure we'll have the press conference by that time. And as far as what the show, what the rest of the show will be about, probably me and Hanson arguing whether it's done or whatever. I'm really interested to get his comments on this. With that being said, see you at 8:00.
Get ready to play hardball in the Kingdom.
Take me to the ball game. I want to see the Ants. The Mariners are playing hardball. Did it again and again and again. Did it again.
Princess Tours, the vacation company, brings you the best show in baseball when the San Diego Chicken plays hardball with the Seattle Mariners and the Baltimore Orioles tonight in the Kingdom.
How about that?
All right. Just had to do that one more time.